Wilson, I think we have wiggled ourselves into a pickle. We are in an all-out dilemma. I'm perplexed. Are you perplexed?
I'm perplexed.
Do you know which one to do? Like, if you were gonna walk away with a TV, which one would you pick? Don't say it, you're gonna spoil it. You be spoiling my crap, dude. Don't be spoiling it for the people. Look, guys, welcome back to New Stuff TV, the Untechnical Tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine. I got a Sony situation, Richardson, because today, that's exactly what we got. It's a situation between the two top-tier Sony TVs. We got the 75-inch Bravia 7 and the 75-inch Bravia 9, and we are having a hard time picking out which one. Well, I'm not having a hard time picking out which one is better. What I'm struggling with is which one I should recommend, because there's a vast cost difference between the two. In fact, let's just jump into that since I brought it up. Dude, one of them is on sale and one of them ain't. But when they're both on sale, one of them is still a lot more expensive than the other, right? Right, Wilson?
Oh yeah.
All right, so where did we check Best Buy? We checked Best Buy first, right? So at Best Buy right now, as the time of shooting this video, the Bravia 7 75-inch is retail $2,400. And the Bravia 9 is $3,500. Was that retail or just that was the price?
That was just the price.
All right. But the Bravia 7 is on sale for $1,800. That's a lot off.
That's so much.
Yeah, $600 off, right?
The $600 off of retail for that, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then that's like that's a lot. Yeah. It's $1,100 between the two as far as retail goes. But on the Sony website, we got the Bravia 7 running at $2,800 and the Bravia 9 running at $4,000 flat for retail. But they're both on sale. This one is $1,800 and this one is $3,500, which is the same price as Best Buy's price, which puts you at a $1,200 difference. So what do you get for $1,200? Wilson, have you determined what you get for $1,200?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep it to yourself. Don't be spoiling my videos, man. We don't need no spoilers. I need the watch time, bro. They could be like, okay, thank you, Wilson, got it. Then they leave. I don't need that. I need watch time. So let's just run up some watch time by talking about these TVs. Physical differences, man. Legs are important when it comes to TVs because not everybody's gonna wall mount their TV. I typically wall mount all my TVs. These are both very versatile TVs. The Bravia 7 has an adjustment to get those legs up or down and even in or out. Right now I have both TVs positioned at their highest level and the legs are spread apart as far as possible, which means they can actually accommodate a sound bar such as this Bravia Theater Bar 9. And you can see right there, it fits. This table's a little warped, so it's not gonna fit like perfect because the table's warped, but trust me, it does fit under there and in between the legs. Then I'll bring it over to the Bravia 9. You got a little more room on the width side of things with the Bravia 9 because those legs go to the edge of the TV to give you a nice boxy finish. Okay, now since I'm bringing up the legs, let's go around here, Wilson. I gotta talk to Sony Man. Sony Man, if you're watching, I'm talking to you right now. Why you do me like this, Sony Man? On the Bravia 7, Bravia X90L, and some of the other TVs, the legs just kind of shove in and out of these holes, right? So it's easy to connect and disconnect. Very user-friendly, don't even need tools for that. But on the Bravia 9, it is the more premium TV, but why do we have this, man? We got to screw these legs in here, and then you put a cover panel over it. And yes, it looks great, but it's like, why'd you do that? I'm guessing it's because you had to put these big old speakers right here and there just wasn't room to go inside of the TV. Maybe, I have no idea. But since I'm back here, I want to tell you guys about these LED lights. Wilson, you brought this up earlier, man. How come, Sony Man, can we get like built-in LEDs on the next family of TVs? Why are we in 2024 and like the company Govee, they're selling these lights. Govee is selling lights like crazy. These are not Govee lights or Govee. These are some aftermarket cheap stuff that I bought. But why don't the TVs come with LED lights? I like bias lighting on my TVs. If you don't like it, don't use it. I'm just saying it'd be better to have it, especially when you're spending like $3,500 on a TV. That's my gripe with you, Sony Man. Anyway, we still cool, Sony Man. We still cool. Anyways, but that's the physical differences between the two. Everything else seems to be pretty much exactly the same. What would you say, Wilson?
I would agree.
Yeah, man. Great build qualities on both. We're getting metal bezels or frames and everything. They both look stinking fantastic. Now we can get into some things like picture quality. On the last video I did with the Bravia 7 versus the X90L, and even my Hisense video where I compared the two videos, we had the brightness on all four of those TVs like on max, which is a terrible idea when you're filming a TV in contrast with a human being. Terrible decision on my part, my bad. Today, we have lowered both of the brightnesses to 5. And Wilson, don't they look great in here?
They still look really good.
They're both on the exact same settings, IMAX enhanced with all the same micro settings, and the brightness is on 5 on both of them. Clearly, to me, the Bravia 9 is still brighter, but both of these TVs are very watchable on 5. Dude, all the lights on her, and I can't even say it, all the lights are on in here, and these TVs are on brightness level 5. And look at this. Would you just watch this like as a movie or a TV show or content?
Definitely. This is comfortable.
Very comfortable on 5. This is ridiculous. Okay, so now I did mention brightness. The Bravia 7 by law, okay? It's just science. And it's even a spec. Like I said, I'm not a technical, guy. I don't get into all that stuff, but even in the specs, the Bravia 9 is just by far the brighter TV, and it shows right here. When I look at this YouTube video we're watching at 4K 60, when we look for things like specular highlights, like this is a bad example, but it is actually kind of a good example. The colors are slightly different here. What do you think, Wilson?
They are.
Like we're getting more gray here, more blue here.
Definitely.
So, wow, that's interesting, especially since they're on the same settings, color and everything, right?
Yes.
But what I was mentioning was specular highlights. Look at that light on the ATV. What was that? What do they call that?
Like a snowmobile?
Snowmobile. I call it ATV. But then if you look over here, of course the light is still there. It's still very bright, but it looks brighter on the Bravia 9 with more contrast. And I can even see it in these TVs I see more detail, TVs.
The trees.
The trees. I see more detail in the trees and the rock. You can see it because this TV is just capable due to hardware, and I guess that's probably it. It's just better capable at giving you better contrast, better dynamic range, and apparently color. Look at this. I'm off to the side, so I'm wondering if I need to be, like dead center. Nah, man, the colors are, okay, they got better on the 7, which will bring me to my next point, which is viewing angles.
Granted, these TVs are also, they're almost dimmest.
That's true. Okay. The colors are very similar, but man, that's interesting how on these like bright white shots, the colors are slightly different from each other. But they're performing the exact same, and that's because the Sony XR processor, man, it does a lot of work. Ooh, this is a good one. What are we seeing here, Wilson?
I just see reflection.
Dude, are you getting your own self in there?
A little bit, yeah. I see myself a little bit.
But look at this tree right here.
I can't even see it.
You can't see it, but you see all the specular highlights in the Bravia 9.
Yeah, this one you can really
Man,
tell.
you can really see those details back there. That's great, especially if you're a guy, girl like me, who watches things like Game of Thrones and The House of the Dragon, just, movies that take place in the dark or caves and stuff like that. Or we talked about gaming earlier. Wilson was saying, most people don't game, play dark games like I do. I play Metro Exodus, I play Days Gone, I play Last of Us, and those take place in the dark quite a bit. So those specular highlights will really shine when you have a Bravia 9. What else was there that we talked about earlier before we started this video, Wilson?
No, reflections.
Reflections. And then don't let me forget about viewing angles, because that's important. So reflections. This seems to have more of a gloss finish, okay? They both have a gloss finish, but as far as like gloss finish, it seems to have more of a gloss finish on the Bravia 9, which will reflect light differently, okay? To where it's more or less an anti-reflective kind of thing, almost, I guess you would say. But on the Bravia 7, it has a gloss front, but the light is dispersed in a way to where it's almost like a matte. So when you have like a center, like let's say you're looking at the light, right? Like you get a ceiling reflection, you'll see the center of the light, but it's really hazy. Where if you see the center of the light on the Bravia 9, it's gonna shoot out like a beam. So it's almost not bothersome. They just do it in a different way. And it's really hard for me to explain because I'm an untechnical guy. But this has an anti-reflection deal going on with the screen. And it also has better viewing angles. It has the X-wide viewing angle, whereas the Bravia 7 has always been highly criticized for bad viewing angles. Personally, I don't think they're bad. I just think they're average. We talked about this in the last video. Once you get out here, let me see. I'm physically in the kitchen right now. What are you seeing, Wilson?
Kind of, the colors kind of
This is where it starts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go
So
up the side.
where would you say, 45 or closer?
I'd probably say once you get really closer to a 45, it really starts.
45, 30 degrees, okay. But the Bravia 9 is holding tight, man. I see lots of saturation way over here. Like it's like the picture just hasn't changed at all. And I'm at a very acute angle right now.
Yeah, they move.
Are you seeing any difference, Wilson?
No, it still holds up.
Yeah, the Bravia 7 is holding tight. If this is important to you, this is a no-brainer. You got to spend that extra money on a Bravia 9. Yeah, this is such a hard competition as far as picture quality. When you start nitpicking into those other things like viewing angles or deeper blacks, this one clearly, I don't know if you can see it on your camera right now, like you guys watching the video right now, this one clearly handles better blacks. It gets blacker in general, and it handles the blackness just phenomenally well. And as far as dimming zones, they're just dimming. The zones are dimming. The Bravia 7 is doing a fantastic job. And this is one thing I hate about comparing TVs, because when I'm standing with the Bravia 7 and I'm talking about the Bravia 7, I'm talking about it like it's the best TV I've ever owned, because at the time it was, okay? And it's just such a great picture when it's standing by itself. You spend your money and you tweak the image to what you want, and you're like, wow, this is the best TV ever. Dude, there's always going to be something better out there. You'll just have to spend more money on it. And that's where we walk over to a Bravia 9. And now, this is the best TV I've ever owned. It doesn't mean I lied. It just means that this one didn't exist when I said that. What do you, I mean, are you with me on this, Wilson?
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And now, is it worth, what was it, $1,100 or $1,200 more?
1,200, yeah. For retail, yeah.
For some people, yes, because of maybe the look with the legs or the dimming zones or the extra brightness or the X-wide angle. Like, suppose you got a big family, open concept house, and you like to be in the kitchen, but the TV's not in front of the kitchen, it's off to the side, so you need a better picture. That's where you spend your $1,100 or $1,200 right there. So you can have that quality of life. First of all, if you got that big old house, spend the money anyway, because you know what I'm saying? You balling like that, you beat OOCing. Wilson, do you? You got a big old house like that, you might as well spend the extra money so you can have that XY angle. But, you know, let's say you got, you know, a regular house like I do, where you just sit on the couch in your little confined space and you ain't got no viewing angles. You get you a Bravia 7 because you're gonna be head on anyways. I don't know, man. There's not much difference as far as like, when I say there's not much difference, they're so similar in picture quality. Both are very excellent. They're both using a lot of the same hardware. You're just getting a lot more of that hardware with the Sony Bravia 9, and it is showing. It is clear as day to me which TV I would walk home with if I was to do it all over again. And that is the heavyweight champ, the Bravia 9. But don't forget about the people's champ, the Bravia 7. Look, I'm not an expert in this kind of stuff, but what I do know is I got two big ass, badass TVs. So I'm glad I'm not stuck in a situation like you where I'm trying to decide between the two. Y'all keep being good to each other, and I'll see you when I see you.